ABC 10 Breaking News.
Good afternoon. I'm Tracy Davidson. We're about to get an update on a developing story out of Delaware County. Crews are searching for several people, and we are being updated right now by the DA of Delaware County. Let's listen.
Fulcroft and is the FOP president for Lodge 27. We are here because in another, hopefully, 45 minutes or so, we're going to be releasing one of the heroes from yesterday, David Shaza, who is a police officer in Lansdowne who was wounded yesterday at this horrible incident that took place at 58 Lewis Avenue in East Lansdowne. You're all aware of the facts as they've happened so far. I do want to tell you that at this point, what I can tell you from the investigation that we've conducted to this point, the residents of the people at 58 Lewis Avenue are called the Lee family, L-E family. It's an Asian pronunciation of Lee. There are at least 3 adults and 3 children who are unaccounted for and that we fear were in the home at the time of the shooting and the subsequent fire. At this point, our detectives from the County Detective Bureau, led by Chief Jim Nolan, who's behind me, have been working diligently since this morning to process that scene. We have found the torso of one individual, and we've recovered 1 rifle at this point. But there is a lot more work to be done. Again, there are 6 members of the Lee family who were residing in that house who are unaccounted for at this point, and we fear were in the house and have been killed. We are continuing to process the scene. That will take, I can't even begin to tell you or estimate how long it's going to take for us to continue to do that work. It's a very unsafe scene. Chief Nolan and the chiefs behind me have all made sure that the officers who are doing that work are doing it as carefully and as safely as possible. We don't want anybody else hurt. At this point, Officer Shaza is going to be released. We're happy about that. He is going home to his family. The hero that he is, he doesn't even want people to even know his name. I think Chief Rutherford has thrown me under the bus by having me announce his name. Officer Meehan is still in the hospital. He has suffered a slightly more serious wound. We are hoping he will be released either later today or tomorrow, but we're really at the doctor's wishes on that. That's all the information I have right now. Really not able to take many more questions. Go ahead, John, you're going to try it anyway.
Yes, I'm going to try it anyway. Can you tell me, do we know who called 911 and whether or not the call originated from the house?
I cannot confirm. I don't know. Let me be honest with you. I do think a family member who's not inside the house might have made a call. I don't know if that was the 911 call that triggered the response. I just don't know.
Were there family members that escaped from the house before the fire started?
There are 2 family members who I would say are the grandparents of the children and the parents of some of the adults who were on scene. I don't know at what point they left the scene.
Jack, you mentioned the Lee family. Do you know the relationship with the person who shot or set the fire? Is it the same person that you believe carried out the crime?
What we know is that those individuals we believe were in the house. One of them may in fact have been the shooter, but we're still at the process of trying to find out where everybody is inside that house to do the work, the awful, horrible work of trying to recover these bodies. That's the second step of an investigation, is to try to figure out who may or may not have been the shooter. I don't know if we'll ever really be able to determine that.
What the shooter is related to the Lee family?
We believe it could be a member of the family, but we don't know. What we know at this point, there could be other people in that house. What I'm telling you, what I do suspect is that there are 6 members of that family who resided there who are unaccounted for, and we are presuming were in the house at the time of this incident and the fire. So everyone who was in the house at that fire is presumed dead at this point. But again, we don't know because they're unaccounted for, but that's the gruesome assumption, is that they were in the house and we're going to have to recover their bodies over the next period of time.
Any idea how the fire started?
No idea. John, we're still at the stage of trying to get into the house bit by bit and recover bodies and evidence. That finding you're talking about how who shot and how the fire was started, if we ever determine it, it won't be anytime soon. That's all part of the process, but the biggest concern right now is to safely get our officers inside. We don't want anybody else hurt, and then see if we can send the family and give them closure about the missing members of their family, and if there might be anybody else inside there as well. And that might be a gruesome, time-consuming process too, because these people's bodies have been destroyed by fire. So we may have to resort to dental records and other means to try to determine who's who when we do find more bodies, assuming we do. So that's an assumption based on an assumption, but it's all based upon the fact that these members of that family who resided there are unaccounted for now 24 hours after the incident.
Did you say that the parents of the adult children who were unaccounted for, that they were living in that house as well?
I don't know if they were living there. I can't confirm or deny that.
And when you say that there was one life that was found within this dwelling, at least the remains, does that include that torso that you had mentioned? And I'm sure it's going to be such a difficult process. How do you figure out if it is truly a person right now?
What I've been told is we found the torso of one human and we found a weapon. That's what we found so far. We will find other things, but that's the knowledge we have right now. I can't tell you who that is or anything like that, but we found the remains of a human torso and we found a rifle. And that's really all I can tell you at this point. And you opened the door with the question, and now I'm going to have to stop you all because I really don't have any other further information. We're going to go over and be prepared to greet our officer, our returning hero, who's coming back to Delaware County. And we want to thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
There we have just a little bit more information from the DA of Delaware County. We do know the officers. They've been identified. Lansdowne Police Officer David Chiazza, he's expected to be released in the next hour. And you heard the DA call him a hero. We also know East Lansdowne Police Officer John Meehan was another officer who was shot. We're told that he has a more serious wound. They're hoping for his release later today or possibly tomorrow. We do have reporters and photographers at the hospital and on scene. We'll have much more coming up on NBC 10 News at 4. I'm Tracy Davidson.